Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. This is the System Administrators Special Interest Group. We talk about reports, notices, system preferences, anything that interests us. We like to look at just about everything. I'm Juliet. I'm the leader of the group, but you're all willing or all able to put your input in, let me know, put your questions out. I'm just gonna start with a general announcement, which is next month is the November meeting is on a holiday. So I won't be able to attend that, and I'm wanting to know what the group would like to do, if you'd like to reschedule or if we should just cancel our November meeting for the year. Any ideas, suggestions, thoughts?
Would we be able to move it a week later?
A week later would be good. The earlier week I don't want to do because that's my birthday.
Rightly so, Juliet.
Let me double check the calendar. So that would put it on November 18th instead of the 11th. If everybody's okay with that, that's what we'll plan. I'll make sure I put out a email ahead of time as a reminder. The next thing that I have on the agenda is the survey that I put out. I got a lot of good responses to that. I put a little bit of a summary in the agenda. If there is a link to the agenda in the chat. I'm not sure if it's still there for if you came in late. Let me send it one more time just in case. Basically a lot of good feedback on the survey. The majority of everybody said that they didn't mind having the agenda a day or two early. I'm gonna try to get it out the Friday before if I have time. Last week was kind of a crunch, so I just put it out on, I had it ready, but I emailed on Monday. The majority was okay with whenever we have the agenda ready. Another thing that I wanted to highlight was that I asked what you considered we talk about in this meeting, and most people said notices, circ and fine rules, plugins, and batch patron actions. And I totally didn't think to put system preferences on the list, but that for sure is one of the things that we talk about in this group. People also like the format of the meeting, talking about bugs, reports, and upgrades. Upgrades are often a big thing, especially right before they get pushed through. And I always want to focus on those right around that time. I think that's great. Lots of people were interested in short tutorials, but I only had a couple people who were interested in doing them. So if you want to see short tutorials as we go out, be thinking about ones that you might be willing to do, or let me know ones that you would like to know about, and I can look into either getting somebody to help us with it or seeing if I can do it myself. I'm thinking that probably starting in January is when I want to start incorporating that. And it might just be like, hey, this is how I set up the calendar. I know that was a big one that a lot of people struggle with. For my library, we only set it up for my particular branch, and then the other branches do it themselves. So if someone has a lot of knowledge about setting up the calendar, that might be a great one to get started with in January if you want to think about doing a tutorial for us. Did anybody else have any questions or thoughts about the survey that I had put out?
Hello, this is Janice. I missed
Hi,
the
Denise.
survey. Is it too late to fill it out?
I think it's on last month's agenda, the link is, and it's still open, so you can go
Okay.
ahead and fill it out, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. I did put at the end of the agenda a couple of charts with what the results were, if you want to scroll all the way to the end and look at it. One of the things that I've really wanting to look at more in depth myself is notices. So that might be something that I'm interested in talking about more come the new year. Does anyone else have announcements for the group? It's so bright and early. Everybody's so wide awake this morning.
I don't have an announcement, but I do have a question. I
Sure.
have not been upgraded to 25 yet. So is everything that you're discussing now dealing with the new version 25, or this is for all versions?
We can talk about all versions. A lot of us are in different states of being upgraded. I think that we just went live on the new version a few weeks ago. But we can totally talk about the older version if we need to. With the upgrade, we're seeing not that many changes, but a lot of bugs are being worked on that came as a result of the upgrade, but it doesn't really seem to be interrupting any much of our library's workflows.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and
So
move
this
on to
is kind of
questions
one of
unless,
the
go ahead,
better-
Kristi.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, I think 2505 has been kind of one of the better upgrades. Not that we've been through like 10 years of upgrades or anything, we joined 2 years ago, but yeah, we've been through a few.
yeah, the last one was like the most painful one we'd had in a while, the 2411, I think it was, because of all the bootstrap changes. It just made it harder to navigate the site, but a lot of those fixes are coming in this, or have either come out since then or coming in this one. There are weird things about sorting that I'm seeing as bugs from this most recent update. Things aren't sorting right in different areas, but they're working on fixing all of those. Oh yeah. Rebecca shared an update from Bywater, which is their help page, and it's the bugs that they've found and that they're working on. Bywater's been really communicative about the bugs and everything from this update this time. It's been really cool to see all of this communication.
I'm really grateful for the part of their page that says bugs will be patched in 250504, which is coming the week of October 27th. So you actually know when these point releases are going to show up and they don't just randomly show up on your server and you're like, oh, I guess that's fixed. So yeah, I'm happy about the communication they have this time. I think they were trying to do this for the last upgrade, but whatever they've got in place now is working really well.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the question section. Let's see, Angela, do you want to talk about the issue that you were having? I put you on the agenda, so you're first right now.
Can you guys hear me? My audio is a little weird.
I can now.
Okay. I just got a new laptop and apparently the audio is horrible. Okay, let me see if I can. Get some things set up. I'm not ready for today. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So basically we had a plugin created for us And when we went through this last update, it puts what we call messages on the items in the item view tab in a bib record. And when we upgraded, it moved those messages from the top of the item section to the bottom. And for some reason, I can't get it to move back unless I manually change them one by one. And then it doesn't even stick. So I've been kind of looking at, so these are our items. This is, you know, one of our books. We've got items and the messages. These messages used to be up here at the top. Don't do that. Up here at the top. And I know there's probably some sort of jQuery or CSS or something. Like I can identify it in the elements, but I don't know how to apply it across the board. So I don't know if anybody has, and I'm curious if it might need to be a plugin change rather than a koha change. So anybody who's an expert at this and would like to tell me what I'm doing wrong, I would love that.
Those messages are created by a plugin.
Mm-hmm.
What plugin is that specifically? Again?
Sorry, say that again.
What plugin is? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, okay. What plugin is that specifically that you're using?
So it's one that we had created for us. Let me see if I can find it in our plugins real quick. Honestly, all I have is whether or not you can turn it on and off. So it's just this item messages plugin where basically you can add and edit messages related to a specific item. And it only shows up on this items page. And it just adds this new section down here where we can say, hey, this is mostly for everything that's out in storage. And then we add a new number. And we add it in there, and now we have a new pallet number in there, or we can delete them. And it's sitting right here. And I can drag it up and put it back at the top where we wanted it, where it used to be. But I have to do that manually. And then when I get out of this record and come back in, it's reset itself.
So, that's just where it goes by default. You weren't moving it previously and it broke. It just, you kind of want to move it where it is now.
Yeah, this is where it was by default before we upgraded.
Oh, so it after you upgraded, it just changed its position to
Yes.
somewhere?
What version is your plugin? Can you go back to that screen?
2411.
2.3.4. Yeah, it looks like they updated it last week, but that's the latest version. I thought maybe Lucas had fixed it.
They had to update it because it totally fell apart. We lost pieces of it. So they updated it, but they didn't move it on the items tab viewing part.
I mean, theoretically, yes, you can do this with jQuery. You would just have to like do like a dot each in each block of the section, target the messages, and then insert it before. But I need to install the plugin to figure out how to tell you how to do that. I
Same,
guess.
yeah.
Okay. Do you think that jQuery that would belong within the plugin itself, that code, or does it belong in?
I would say that if it used to be that way and it's not that way anymore, then it is a problem with the plugin itself.
Okay.
So I would go over to the GitHub and put in an issue because that's the easiest way to make them, like, I assume Lucas is the one working on it, make him aware that it used to work this way and it needs fixed.
Okay. Because we had a ticket open about it just broke completely. They fixed it and they were like, okay, thanks, bye. Like, wait a minute. So, okay. I will go over and talk about it again and see if I can get somebody's attention. Thank you.
I think Chip's question is next on the agenda, bill payment receipt. Was that you?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, we have this new feature. Instead of having to turn on automatic emails for all payments, we can now choose to send a receipt by email or to print it. And I've got the email template down, but I'm wondering if anybody has a good print template. And I guess I should share the screen and show where I am. Can everybody see this? So this is the print template I'm looking for, and it doesn't look that great, and we want to try to improve on it. And I've been struggling with that. So in the place, um, yeah, I think the place the template would be under the account credit notice for printing. So I just wanted to toss it out there, and I'm wondering if anybody's printing receipts this way, and whether you have a decent template for it.
I think we just use the built-in one if we use it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well,
Chip, are you using the receipt printer? Because it looks like it's a full page.
well, at the staff workstations, it's set up to use the receipt printers, I believe. I'm not sure.
What was the name of the notice template you were using again? Account credit?
Yeah, account credit.
Okay, thanks.
So anyhow, I thought I'd just toss it out there, but I'll I'll report back if I find a solution for it.
Have you looked on the notices and slips wiki at all to see if anybody else is?
Yeah, I've scoured that pretty well. I'll take another look there. And one of the problems I'm having is it's actually printing. If multiple items were paid at once, it'll print out the individual items. And I can't manage to get that to kind of loop and capture the other items. So. But I'll keep looking, and we can move to the next topic, and I'll let you know if I find something out.
That'd be good.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Elizabeth, using library groups to restrict access to patron data.
This is, I just want some feedback from others on whether or not you do something similar. We have schools in our ILS as well as public libraries. And so we want to keep the school patron data inaccessible to the public library staff because you need to under FERPA. Anyway, and I was looking for what's the best option to do that. I think we could create a library group that was all the public libraries. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it yet. We do not have a test server. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up everybody's system if I try it. If we create the public libraries as a group and check the box that they only have access to the public library patrons, that should keep them from seeing the schools, right? Does this sound right to anyone else, or does anyone else do something like this?
We do have a something similar set up, not that situation, but I've got a community college that uses us to only authenticate for Hoopla, so they're not actually part of the consortium. So they're in a library group by themselves, and then all my consortial libraries are in a library group by themselves, and they can't see each other's patrons because of the library groups and that permission. So it does work that way for us.
Okay, so then Jason, what about holds? Because they still want to be able to get holds from the public libraries, and the public libraries still want to get holds from the schools. That's not gonna mess
So
that
you
up,
would
is
just have
it?
another group. So you have one group for restricting patron data that is set for that, and then another group for holds.
Okay,
Like the libraries can be in multiple different groups at the
okay,
same time.
that's what I was hoping it meant. I read through everything, but there's not great documentation on trying to do this. Okay. I'll try it late at night.
I have a question related to this. This scenario that Elizabeth is describing sounds similar to one that we've tried to, well, we've actually just kind of thought about it. We haven't tried to do anything about it. But our library staff accounts, we would like to be able to have them not visible by the regular library staff. So because at the consortium office, we're the ones that create all of those accounts. And we would really like it if it's possible so that no one else at the other libraries could see or edit those. Am I making sense? And it sounds kind of similar to what the scenario is that you're describing, a subset of accounts that you don't want the general staff to be able to see. So it just kind of got me thinking, is there anyone that's done something like that?
I know it wouldn't affect the being able to see the accounts, but they added that protected status to
But that
accounts.
only means you can't delete it, I think, right?
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you can't edit it.
So that's something that would be an enhancement if we could
Yeah.
make that do more.
Yeah, unless it wasn't visible. That's the thing. If it wasn't visible, then that would solve everything. But I just throwing it out there because it reminded me of our situation.
Yeah, it would be good because then you wouldn't have people making somebody else's account weird, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Or accidentally checking out items to them instead of to their staff, to their regular patron account.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
Alex put in the chat, I'm pretty sure I did this by accident after the migration. I think it's possible. What did you accidentally do?
Sorry, that was
Alex?
for the previous question. That was
Okay,
for
okay.
yeah, restricting by library groups.
Yeah, we use our accounts that we use to check out materials with as our user accounts. So
Yeah, we don't want
yeah.
to do that. Okay, thanks.
Danielle has a question about final overdue notice.
Hey, yeah. So with our final overdue notice, we have a cron running where if the email fails, then it will send it to us via email and we can print it. And I recently updated that notice. It was using the syntax where it was just like the double alligators. I don't know what that's called, but I upgraded it to a template toolkit and added some HTML to like format it so the email looks a lot nicer when people get it. It broke the print. So now when my staff are getting the email with the print notices that need to be print, it's just the HTML code. And I was a little confused because also when we set up these notices, all of our overdue notices are just in email. They're in the email section of where you're defining them. They're not in the print. The print area is completely blank. And if I remember correctly, I think that it had to be that way. Anyway, so I just thought I'd ask you guys if you're using HTML and if you're able to get it to print normally, do I need to fill out the print section? I could go back to the default of what it was before. At least that's better than getting HTML code, but I just thought it could make it look prettier in the print as well as the email. And I can share my screen if that helps.
My notices are set up so they do HTML in the email one, and then I have information in the print notice part of that, and that's not HTML. And so that's what my staff get. And it works that way for us.
Okay, so are you using just the default one that's with like that, the double alligator? I don't know.
No,
That's called.
I have
Oh,
template toolkit on all of my own.
Oh, you do? Okay, but you're just not using HTML. It's just using the template.
Yeah, just the print notice doesn't have HTML. I unchecked that box and I didn't put any code in the thing. And then in the email notice, it has the HTML checked, and then I use it in the email.
Okay. Okay, so then I guess that just limits kind of like how kind of pretty I can make it, but at least I can have the information there.
Yeah. The other option is if you have those notices sent to you, if it's an attached like file,
Mhm.
if you tell your staff to open that, I think using a web, like a browser, then it
Oh, it would
show the
convert it.
HTML. I know that's what my staff were doing sometimes.
Oh, okay. I'll play around with that. Thank you. That's kind of what I was thinking I needed to mess around with. It was just interesting that we had never had anything in that print section before. And I was like, well, am I supposed to put it there, or does that not work like that?
Well, and there's new feature in it where you can apply settings when a notice is printed. I haven't played around with that at all. I'm not quite sure what that's
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, I saw that format area now says these format settings apply when a notice is printed, and then it's got style CSS and that. Is that what you?
Yeah, I haven't played around with that at all though.
Okay. Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
Danielle, we didn't have anything in our print notice before I started trying to make our notices look prettier too. And I was told that it backs up to the email notice. If there's nothing in print, the default is the email notice that it will print out. So I needed to have something in the print notice if I wanted to make the email notice look better.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
We only want our staff to print out the build notices when they get it. And so for our earlier notices, I just have to put a line in the print, some sort of information like this intentionally left blank or whatever, because otherwise you just get a whole bunch of, like, it does weird things to that notice that you get. So you do have to put something in there, even if you don't want staff to print it. You don't have to put if you don't want them to print it, you don't have to put in all the same information you do in the email, but it needs something there. Let's see. Joel has issues with using library groups for local holds.
Is anybody using that right now? I assume someone is. We've had a couple instances where it's reaching outside the group when it should be filling a hold inside the group.
We have it turned on for our bookmobile, but we don't get a lot of I haven't really looked at it since the new update. I'm wondering if things have changed because we were having some weirdness with it before. But what kind of issues were you, like you just said that it's getting filled from outside a group?
Oh, you did?
Tell me your problem again, Joel.
Oh, well, I guess it's been fixed already. There were some holds that were reaching outside of the local group. But I guess that's been fixed, so never mind.
I think they made some changes with the most recent upgrade. I'm wondering if that.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for the group that are not on the agenda?
I actually have another one. So I know one of the new features of the 2505 update was that when you go to add a new child record to a parent, it pre-populates the 773 information. So the title, the publication, the link, bib number, and then something in the subfield 7. Is there any way to turn that off? We're having some people that are not enjoying that, especially the link, the subfield W information. I don't know if that was a on-off thing or it just is now. Juliet, you're on mute if you're done.
Sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of your question. Could you say it again?
Oh, okay. So when you're in a parent record and you want to create a child for a serial issue, it now pre-populates the 773 information, the title, the publisher, the bib number to link it to, and something in the subfield 7. And our people are not liking that. They want to be able to turn that off, at least the newer stuff that it's doing, the subfield W and the 7 and some different things. I don't know if that's a syspref I can turn off or if that's just coded in now and we need to have something set up to not do that anymore. Should go back to my notes about the update.
Yeah, we don't really use we don't use that kind of parent-child record relationship in ours.
Okay. I'm gonna go see if I can go back and find the actual bug itself and see if I had anything about that. I have a feeling it's a built-in now, and we're probably gonna have to get some special coding in to say, ignore this. But just curious if anybody else was trying to get rid of it too.
And that could be something to ask at the cataloging SIG too, just in case there's people there that use that more often than we.
Good call. Okay, thank you.
All right, unless we have any other questions, moving on to bugs. I see that the first one on the list is Elasticsearch boost fields needs to boost more. I'm not on Elastic, so I'd love to hear more about anybody who's working with this, what this is for and what it does.
I can give a shot at it. So some of the things that so if you're trying to search for a title that's not the most distinct in the world, like it or the women or something like that, a lot of times an exact title search just ends up way down the page for some reason with Elasticsearch. And the most recent upgrade was supposed to boost exact titles a little bit more, but it doesn't seem like it's quite hit that sweet spot yet. If anyone else has better explanation, go for it.
Yeah, Nick wrote a patch for this and I tested it and it seemed to work. It's just having a tough time getting past QA. So hopefully I put my batch of records on the bug so people can use it to test with, but it seemed to work. He added an extra field to the system preference that like lets you control how much it boosts, but I couldn't actually make that do anything, but its presence made the thing work for me. So I don't know. I signed off on it. Hopefully it gets past QA soon. It also does seem to relate to the version of Elasticsearch, because when I tested on Elasticsearch 8, I didn't have any problems, but since our production server is on 7, I do have problems with it. So hopefully it doesn't get caught up in bug land. But yeah, it's a problem for us. So like my example was Book of Hope. So lots of records with book, because that's in the item as well. Lots of records with of. So that was winding up on the 3rd or 4th page of search results. And actually when I put it into the testing Docker, it was like 600 and something. Like the exact title was 600 and something, because they all had the same timestamp. So that didn't come into the relevancy play. But with the fix, the patch that Nick wrote, it floated those up to the very top. So hopefully that gets fixed sooner than later.
I have a question about that. One of the libraries mentioned that since turning it on, when they search things, it just doesn't come up at all. Is that a possibility? Do I need to turn it off?
For us, when I turn it on, it doesn't do anything. Like my search results are exactly the same. But yeah, I would say if it's affecting your results in a negative way, I would turn it off for now, because
I've
it's
only
not
heard
working.
from that one librarian. The one I used to test it was Toy Story, and it made a huge difference, and before or after. But I was like, if we can't find things, that's not a good thing. I just thought it was supposed to boost it rather than completely change the results.
Didn't they talk in that bug about making it like a slidable scale that you can, hey, I want an 80% boost, or I only want a 30% boost? I don't know if that's actually, was that part of his patch or not yet?
Yeah, it adds an extra field to that system preference. By default, it's 0. I think you can put a negative number in to like de-emphasize the boost too, but then you can put values in it to like elevate how much it boosts.
Cool.
And
That's nice.
play with it.
Trevor has a question, says, did you say that using the keyword book in a general keyword search will include any bibs where there is a book item type of the items attached to the bib or assigned to the bib?
I think so. I think that's why the search in particular is giving us so much trouble, is because it's searching the item record, the bib, like the full bib record, because I'm just doing keyword searches. If I do an advanced search, or like put quotes around it, then I don't have any problems. But if I'm doing a keyword search where it's looking at the whole record, then it's pulling in lots and lots of results.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
Couple of bugs from Chip looking for sign-offs. Display borrower's last seen and support option to display first name and patron search results when different than preferred name. Do you want to talk about those at all, Chip?
Yeah, yeah, our circulation department asked about seeing last seen instead of last, I forget what it's called, just a second. I think last activity or something like that.
Oh yeah,
There's
because
like
like it
updated
last
on.
updated or yeah.
So last seen would be more helpful for search. And I can't sign off on these because actually my boss helped work on the code for them. So I just thought I'd throw it out there in case anybody would like to take a look at them. The other one, yeah, so in the first name, it's kind of a disambiguation thing for circulation staff when they're looking through search results of, last name Smith and various first names and preferred names. and stuff, they, it would give them an extra piece of information there. Or if somebody comes to the CERT desk and says, I'm Tom Smith or I'm Thomas Smith, and they're only seeing the preferred name of Tom in there. So both names would appear.
I feel like I would want that to be something I could turn on or off.
Yeah, yeah, and that's part of it. Yeah, there's a system preference. So yeah, that's all I got. Just tossing it out. Yeah, yeah. That's how it is. It's gonna put the other name in parentheses, but I think what they're going for is prefer the new preferred name as the default. And so the actual like legal first name would be in parentheses. I think I got
We can't use preferred names yet because it doesn't work with some of our other systems that tie in to Koha. And so we use other names too. Does it still show other names as like in a parentheses or?
Yeah, and I think the way it ended up, one of them will be in brackets and possibly italicized, and the other one will be in parentheses. So if you've got both on your system, you might see last name, comma, preferred name, then the first name and then the other name in various parentheses or brackets.
Do you think those would be pretty easy ones for somebody to practice signing off on?
The probably last scene would be a lot easier. The first name is a little more detailed, I think. Yeah. Refresh my memory. Yeah, the test plan on the second one's not too bad. So, yeah. See what you think.
Any other bugs that anyone wants to highlight, bring to the group, talk about? All right. Danielle's asking about my hotspot report that I posted in the Slack. So I'm gonna try to share my screen here. If I can remember how. All right, do you see that? So in our system, we have hotspots that staff need to go to another website and click on it and enable or disable it when they're long overdue. And they were looking at the report and it wasn't very readable, visible. So I made this template using the notices template to overlay the report, and so that they get little cards that say whether they need to check or disable an item. The report that I had to make is a union report. So if you run it, let me get to there we go. The actual report, I'm looking at the items table, and then I had to join it with the deleted items table, I believe. At some point, I'm trying to remember where it's been a few days since I looked at it, so I'm trying to remember what I did. Basically, I'm looking at a report of my hotspots and whether they're overdue or if they were checked in recently. Because if they're checked in recently, then I also wanted them to see it and remember to reactivate the report. I'm looking at old issues. That's what where I had to join because those were the ones that had just been recently returned. And so that's why I have a union. If you only want the ones that were just recently returned, you don't have to look at old issues for it. And then when I ran the report, this is what I've got some flags there because those are that's the column it used in the old issues one that tells them when it was overdue or it's been a while since I looked at it, so I'm not doing a great job explaining it. But what I did is I added this template, which adds a link to the website they have to go to, and then these cards that tell them about the hotspots. And that template that I did is, if I go here to notices, hotspots. So basically what I had to do is I had to put this for each thing here that says that each row we're gonna do this, and so it's gonna make this text. And this is where I actually had ChatGPT help me with this because I was kind of having a hard time wrapping my brain around how to apply the CSS that I knew I could do to the notice. And so you've got the template toolkit giving you the logic for what data to pull from the report. And then you wrap it in a div, and there's one for the cards that styles each little card, and then there's a whole div that styles them so that they, they flex on the page. And then just the link at the top for them to get to. And I can post this in the maybe in the Slack where I have the example if you guys are in the Bywater Slack. I'm not an expert at any of this, so that's where when I say I use ChatGPT, I come up with a report and I said I want to do this. How do I add styling? And it told me, and so then I tried it and it looked good, and so I called it good. So I'm not super versed on exactly what I did, other than I've looked at it and it works. The flexing is really what makes it look nice when you're on a smaller screen, bigger screen. That's something I'm actually in a class right now I'm taking, and I'm learning about that right now. So maybe I will be able to talk more on it in a future session. Did you have any other questions about it, Danielle?
So thanks for explaining that because I didn't even understand what you meant by notices template. So, but now it's a lot clearer. I don't think I ever saw that spot in reports where it was like you can apply a template. But my question then is for staff, are you linking to this on the homepage of Koha, or do they go into reports and run that report?
Yeah, so my homepage, I have it set up so that when staff get into it, they've got a section down at the bottom where it has our paging reports that we run. And I found, I think it was on a Terrific Every Other Thursday thing where you could add these tabs that George had done. So I've got that in there. And then this is just something I started working on last week, was adding this tab for staff. So I only have 2 reports right now for them. So they can click on the hotspot report or the long overdue report and get the hotspot one. Since they click on the link, it'll automatically apply that template because that's in the URL. And so then you don't have to tell them to go up to the little drop down and apply the correct template. And otherwise, because my staff would never remember to do that. They would just look at it and say, oh, it's a weird SQL report. And so, and I'm hoping to have more templates in the future. Right now, that's the only template I've made so far.
No, that's amazing. And I'm gonna use that for my hotspots. And then also we're just implementing Chromebooks and they wanted a report that like in a glance they could see which ones were checked out. And so I think I can also use this for that. So
Yeah.
super appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, so yeah, if you go into notices, when you make a notice, um eh, your new notice would have the type of reports, and then you can use that, and then it goes into the, I believe, the print version. I always get confused of which box you put it in. Not the email one, which is weird, but
Mhm.
and then you have to use the template toolkit to pull in the data. So that's where you're getting your information from the report, and then you can use CSS to make it however pretty you want it to be.
Awesome. Yeah, if you can share that and your report, and then I think I can hack it all together and try to
Sure.
make my own. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other fun reports or interesting things anyone's working on? We've got about 7 minutes left. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Questions, reports, issues, things you're excited about?
Just if anyone has any good reports that they've come up to deal with serials, particularly like individual copies of serial, like magazines. We're kind of looking at how we can get a good report together for what's been checked in at a branch that's a magazine, so we know whether they got something or not outside of using the serials module. So if anyone knows of one, or if they have one that they use, feel free to send it to me on Mattermost or Slack. Otherwise I'll keep looking. Thanks.
I've been playing around with using the new additional fields for individual libraries. And the one snag I ran into, which I don't think there's a workaround, but using template toolkit for the whole pickup notices, I can't grab the additional fields for a patron's home library, because that slip only, like the branches thing in template toolkit is only the pickup library. And you can get a list of other libraries that you can figure out the home library, but I can't seem to figure out a workaround to pull the actual additional fields. I can only get it from the pickup library. I know that's like a brandy new feature, so I'm not sure if anyone has delved, but I was actually going to open up a ticket by water on that today to see if there's anything in there to somehow get around that. Because I'm trying to, so what I want to do is in those additional fields for each library, add a field for everybody's Aspen URL, so that on the actual notice, it can, like I have it running now with like a giant array inside the notice, but I would rather it just pull it from each individual library property so that the whole notice links directly to that patron's home, that patron's home, the home library of that patron's Aspen site. I'm saying that all out of order, but you get what I mean. And so that's what I was struggling with a bit yesterday when I realized I can only pull the pickup library, which in most cases is the home library, but not always. Yeah. Super quiet.
I've played with it a little, but I guess I didn't I hadn't come up with a need for information about the home library from those fields, so I've just been pulling in stuff for the pickup library onto my old slips. So it's good to know that you can't do that easily.
It doesn't seem like it. It's like it's only in specific scenarios you can pull it. Depends on what the default branch is for the branch or branches thing in template toolkit. I also just installed that on a test instance, that item messages plugin, because trying to quickly during this meeting take a look, but still having trouble figuring out where those messages actually are. Like I added one, but
Like the message template, like you made a notice template? Or
going back to earlier when we were talking about the plugin, and like
right.
I'm just trying to see it so I can look at like the actual HTML, and it's gonna take longer than I expected to figure out.
Yeah, I couldn't get the plugin to work right on my system. Like I wasn't seeing that messages section where Angela was seeing it on her screen.
Like I added a new message to an item. I first had to manually add an authorized value, but I still don't see it. Like it's halfway there. Anyway,
I went ahead and updated the GitHub page and put some screenshots in. So I don't know if that'll help.
I mean, it looks like it should be a simple fix on the plugin. It's doing an append to where you could do a prepend to, and it should put it at the top of the section instead of the bottom of the section, but I'm not confident enough to like try and make those changes myself.
I'll open up my mouth again real quick. Has this come up already? If it has, I will, but this meeting often occurs simultaneously with the Aspen developers meeting. I feel like, and I've been going to the Koha meetings just because we've been knee deep in Koha. Has that already come up? Like, sort of, kind of not obviously not everybody who uses Koha uses Aspen, but like I've been bumping into conflicting time slots. Like even the rescheduled meeting is now during the Aspen. I'll probably go to this meeting, but the Aspen community meeting. So I'm wondering if anyone else has come across that, just in terms of having to pick between one meeting or the other. And I don't know if it's just this one or if it's any of the other Koha meetings. I think it's mainly been this one, but again, if no one cares, I'll shut up.
It's possible. I don't really do much with Aspen, so I'm not. Somebody else in my system does the Aspen.
Being nosy and sticking my nose in everything. That's why I'm coming into meeting conflicts.
I noticed that too, Mike. But I had to make a choice. So it's tough, but I don't know if the Aspen one gets recorded as well. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I'm gonna guess the dev one isn't the one that goes today.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Gets a little heated sometimes too. So
It's been my experience that it's a little like we get really good documentation on the Koha meetings and recordings of the Koha meetings, but they're a little less willing or not willing, but you know, they don't really want to record the Aspen meetings. I think there's a particular, I don't know if it's privacy or if it's a matter of trying to do maybe more open discussion without, you know, having a record of it. But I have noticed there's been a hesitancy on recording those meetings, which can be frustrating because if you have to miss one, you can't, you know, go back and watch the recording. But I've noticed there has been some of that time conflict as well, but I'm not as involved in like the developer meetings and that kind of that kind of thing. So I'm a little more likely to go to the Koha ones, but yeah, you're not the only one. I've definitely seen that too.
It's definitely come up at some other Aspen meetings where like, hey, should we record these? Everyone, and some people are like, you know, I think it is like a let's speak freely, and you know, I don't know what the difference is in terms of the Koha mentality versus the Aspen users, but yeah.
I haven't ever really looked for what meetings and stuff, but you can find, Mary said she wasn't aware of the meetings. If you go to community.aspendiscovery.org, I put the link in the chat. They have a calendar there with all the meetings. I would say that we had our meeting probably set before they did, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of Aspen meetings that are only been around the last year or two as they've been building up like the organizational structure of things. So
I just get a little confused too because with the Aspen calendar meetings, they're a dark yellow and the Koha ones are light yellow on my calendar. So sometimes I get confused as to which one is which, but I guess that's probably just a me thing.
They've moved several times to the Aspen meetings, so I keep showing up at the wrong time. I've got the old time on my calendar and I can't get there, but I don't see one that conflicts on the 18th looking at this calendar, Mike, unless it's one that isn't on their calendar that I'm unaware of.
say again, sorry.
Next month, 18th.
Next month on the 18th, I don't see one.
Let's see. And you know, I've run into like things I've gotten rescheduled, and maybe I just had like a clone of a, let's see, 18th. That's quite possible, you know, quite possibly. When is the Aspen community meeting that month? This might be, I might need to update my calendar too, if that's not coinciding with the actual,
Yeah, the calendar now says the community meeting's on the 13th, so we should be conflict free for the 18th.
All right, let me delete that then. Thank you. I can attend both meetings now.
Yeah, our Aspen person doesn't work on Thursdays, and it used to be I think it used to be on Tuesday and he could go, but now I get to go and I report back.
The nice part of those community meetings is they do pre-record the actual like new development stuff. Like you can find that on YouTube. So if like you go just for that, you can kind of see that ahead of time or afterwards or whatever.
All right. Well, we're about 6 minutes past 10, so I think we'll probably call it for today. Feel free, if you have more questions for the group, feel free to send it out to the system administration's SIG, the same email that I send the reminders for. If you send it to that, it should go to everybody that gets those subscriptions. I know I've had a few people send stuff directly to me, and that's fine too. I can put things on the agenda. I had forgotten to make the agenda editable this time. I'll try to remember that for next time. But I think we'd be happy to talk about stuff in between meetings too. So always go ahead, or if you want to hit me up on Slack, I'm on there too. A lot of us are. Put it in the general chat or the reports chat, and there's usually somebody that can chime in if you're in the Bywater group, if you're supported by them. But anyway, I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you next month on November 18th.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.